What's up, everybody? This is your boy, That Black Oni, coming to you guys today with pretty much, if you've seen the title, you know what this is. This is the reason why I will not be getting the PlayStation Classic. And like, mind you, it's been over 24 years since the original PlayStation dropped. I remember all the nostalgia that came with it. But one thing I won't be really talking about that much is basically the games that are the games that are coming out on here. I think that it's a okay list, or like really subpar list, if you will. But the reason why I really won't be just going and talking about that is just basically because of so many other folks have already talked about it. If you've seen it or if you haven't, I can just throw out a little bit is what I'm going to do. I'm also going to talk about the reason why I think, honestly, this is a waste, and all of these minis are a waste, basically because of other sources that you can get these from, really. And I think that that's just really funny how we constantly look at these different type of things and look at how we're spending money on this stuff when there's other sources out there that these are coming from, and they're overcharging you, really. Like, that's honestly the whole shebang about it, is you're being overcharged. All right, so my main thing is, and you guys see a picture of it right now, of the list of things that they are doing right now for the PlayStation Classic. Let's see, the PlayStation Classic, it'll come with Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racers, Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighters 2 Turbo. And, you know, we get Metal Gear Solid. We get all of the nostalgia types with that. But my thing is, I didn't understand why they didn't go pop out with some of the more rare titles. Is like, really, I should say, is the rare titles like Tumbo 1 and 2, and that's just off the top of my head that I can come up with. I never understood why we get the exact same things that are so generic. A lot of them were vast. I think we get Lunar, if I'm not mistaken, on this list, but I would have liked to see what else they could have put on her. 20 games to me is not enough to hold down on this system. Like I said, look for instance of the Super Nintendo, where it had a crap ton of games on there. So you had a huge variety of games that you could play, enjoy, games that you maybe have never played on that console when it came out or when it was out. And when they had came out with this Super NES, and how they had Star Fox 2 on there, a game that never came out but was finished and developed, but just never got, you know, the love and care and treatment that it really needed. And I thought that was one of the things too that, you know, PlayStation, you know, could have made some old school NES games for the fun of it, to see how they turned out. But that's, you know, like I said, these are my personal opinions. So at the end of the day, I'm not coming for no one's neck or anything in this whole entire video. Another reason I'm not buying it, just like I haven't bought the Super Nintendo Mini or NES Mini or any Mini, because that's really what these are. These are minis. The only reason why I haven't bought a Mini or anything like that is because all of them use Raspberry Pi. Like, let's just be realistic. Raspberry Pis. You can go and actually buy a Raspberry Pi, a cheap Raspberry Pi that can run the emulation for NES, Super Nintendo 64, and a little bit higher than that, for around $36. And it comes with a casing. You can buy kits for like $36. You can buy them. I'm going to have just this pop to it. So what you guys see is a list of Raspberry Pis. This Raspberry Pi is the Raspberry Pi 3. I mean, hold on, let me get all my stuff situated. The Raspberry Pi 3i goes for $35.50. Comes with 1 gig of RAM and set up well enough that it actually can play PlayStation 1 games just like the Classic. You also have an option where you can actually plug a USB in for extra external memory. You can actually put a ROM on here and play it the same way you'll be playing it right now. Now, there's problems or issues, or people might say, well, the ROM might not be trustworthy or this and that. But there's been so many issues where even though you take these ROMs still aren't promised to run just because you have a quote unquote system for it, because it's not the original system. All of this stuff is still running off of ROMs, and they are pretty much set up. Like I said, you had not PlayStation, but Super Nintendo even take off ROMs off of ROM Paradise and all of that stuff, like a huge thing with that being shut down. The same thing, most likely will end up happening with PlayStation Classic. I just see it. It may not be soon, but later on in the future, it's most likely going to happen. The thing with that is it's also one of those things that people collect ROMs, so I just see it being one of those things that falls off and someone else creates a site or helps out a site that no longer has it anymore. But you have so many different options of game ROMs, and you even can buy shells, gaming shells, the exact same way that these things come in, the exact same ones, 3D printed, or someone craft these. Like, it's just crazy that I would spend $100 for it when I can get a Raspberry Pi for like $35. I'm talking about you even have some for $18. That's not good in the place of how everybody sees the PlayStation Classic. It's not good when all you're doing is trying to sell me a product that has a Raspberry Pi in it, when I can just go out, buy this thing, not even have to worry about a case, but plug this thing up and spend less than $100 putting all of this together. Like, seriously, all I have to do is buy the Raspberry Pi, set it up, and if I buy a kit, it comes with a case for it. If I want to go all retro and buy different mini cases for it, I can do that. So it's just like, it's a waste of time, money, and everything else just because of that. Another thing, they have one that plays almost every console every retro console that has ever came out. And that one is the Raspberry Pi 3 Console Emulator Kit PC16003 game. And it plays everything that you see here. Like, literally everything that you see here. All the old school arcades, all of the Ataris. You have all of, Dreamcast, Famicom, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis, and the list goes on. Like, there's just such a huge waste when it comes to these type of like gaming consoles, or I should have said Raspberry Pi knockoffs that people are being scammed with, when you have the option to do this. This is also an option. Now, if you buy it, you buy it. I'm not stopping you from buying it. I just want to tell you my reasons why I'm not getting it, and the reasons why I think that it is a waste, because you can get a Raspberry Pi that does much more than this. And because all this thing is a emulation Raspberry Pi reader. That's all it is. Just set up for gaming. That's all it is at the end of the day. So that was my 2 cents. This is your boy, That Black Oni. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, leave down in the comments why. I would appreciate that feedback so I can get better at what I do to make you guys, like my videos. Another thing, if you're already subbed on my channel, but you're not sure how to get notifications, there should be a bell down below, right down there, and it should, just click that bell and it will update you on all of my new upload videos as soon as they come out. This is your boy, That Black Oni, signing out in 3, 2, 1.